Who was that lady? That fabulous lady? That lady I saw you with last night?
Hi, I'm Ashley Ayala, and this is the latest installment of Who's That Lady? And I'm so happy, and I'm also so fortunate to have Ashley Malloy here, such a talented actress who is starring, and I believe you directed the show as well, right?
Actually, Josh Pearlstein directed it at Central Connecticut State University, where it premiered in fall of 2014, or 2013. Wow, it's been a while.
So who's directing it now?
He still has the directing credit. I just continue to keep the flame lit, really, at this point. So I feel like I'm at the point in the show where I really have most ownership over it. So I'll tweak things, and the audience is really the director at this point. Like every show, they tell me what they want with little, like, they're laughing here, they're reacting there. You just pick up on the energy and you sort of leave it to them.
So, and the name of the show is My Name is Rachel Corrie. So if you could give us a little synopsis of what the show is about.
Yeah, so it's based on Rachel Corrie's journals and her emails that she sent back when she was in Gaza, that she was sending home to Olympia, Washington. So in 2003, in January, she traveled with the International Solidarity Movement, which was a new group at the time, and they bring internationals together, and they go over to Palestine, and they use that privilege to defend houses from being destroyed, to defend water resources and farms, such things as that. So she went over there when she was 23 in 2003. And she grew up in Olympia, Washington. Her parents, Craig and Cindy Corrie, brother Chris, sister Sarah, just like it says in the play. And when she was over there, about 6 weeks in, she was killed by an Israeli bulldozer. So when she died, her mom urged for her writings to get out into the public. So The Guardian actually ran some of Rachel's emails, and then actor Alan Rickman read the emails and was like, wow, this is brilliant, where can we get more of this? So he contacted the Corries, and they sent Alan Rickman about 184 pages of Rachel's writing, and he and Catherine Viner, who's now the editor-in-chief of The Guardian, sifted through everything and created a one-person show about a couple years after that.
Awesome. So when you went into this show, did you know anything about Palestine? And also, like, how did it make you feel? I know you say that one line, I didn't know it was this bad in the show. Like, how did you react to that personally? Like, was it the same with you?
Yeah, so I was really learning about Palestine when I was 18 or 19. I think it was like my first or second year in college. And I had heard about Gaza Strip, West Bank, knew like bad things were going on there, but not to the extent of what is actually happening over there. So I really learned about it from the people. My director, Josh Pearlstein, had brought over actors from the Freedom Theater, which is in Jenin in the West Bank. And the actors were just telling stories about their day-to-day lives living under occupation. And I couldn't believe some of the stories. So slowly I started to have this awakening, and I remember going home for Thanksgiving that November and being like, do you guys know what's going on in Palestine? And I come from a very conservative family, but this didn't seem like a political issue. It felt like a humanitarian issue. So I was like, you should know about the stuff that's going on here. And they were, it was just silent. And I was like, oh, I think this is something we're like not supposed to talk about. I don't really know. So that sort of sparked the awakening. And then I had done like a piece of this show for a class, and I had kind of put it away. I was busy, I was in college. And then I met another actor from the Freedom Theater who came over in April 2013. And he told me the story about his friend who'd been throwing stones at the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces. And you can go to jail for doing that for years. And so he was throwing stones, and the soldiers start running after him. So he runs into his house, he locks the door, he locks himself in a closet, turns off all the lights. And what he didn't know is that his 8-year-old sister was home, and she opened the door, and they shot her in the head. And that was the pivotal moment of, okay, I have to do something. And what am I going to do? I'm going to do My Name is Rachel Corrie. And that was just the moment that I knew I wanted to do the show.
What kind of response did you receive initially when you first did it? Good, bad? Like, how were people feeling? Because it is such a hot topic that people are uncomfortable talking about.
Yeah. My family wasn't thrilled, which I think was like the weirdest thing for me to navigate, because I was so sure, I was so certain that this was worth doing, that it's like when Rachel says, now I know it's me, and this is my job, and I have to do this regardless of what other people think, whether or not other people care. This is my life, and this is what I'm going to do with my life. So I sort of did it regardless of a couple naysayers, really, but most people were very supportive, and most people who come to the show are supportive. I've never had hecklers. I've never had protesters. Really, I've gotten some emails saying, like, you're being brainwashed. I'm glad Rachel Corrie is dead. Horrible things from, really atrocious things from some people. But I would say 99%, it's all positive, and people who disagree with the show or feel that it's anti-Semitic boycott through their absence. They just don't come. But I would say it's an intensely personal story and a personal perspective that one girl can offer. This was her experience, and you can't argue with experience. This is just what she was seeing, and your eyes don't lie to you. Mm-hmm. So I think that for anyone who's like, oh, it's anti-Semitic, my director is Jewish. This is usually hosted by Jewish Voice for Peace. So it's a lot of Jewish people. I've had audiences at times who are predominantly Jewish. So, yeah.
Wow. So, okay, so you have done other acting too, aside from this project, obviously, and you even have your SAG card now, which is awesome.
I have my equity card. I wish I had my SAG card.
Equity, sorry, corrected me. But you went off and did other things. What keeps calling you back to do Rachel Corrie again?
Yeah, really the response, the demand, because I always say, okay, this is my last tour. Like, I'll do it for 6 weeks, and it's exhausting. It's like a marathon. So you can't do it too much, or you're going to burn yourself out. And you also want to think, okay, other professional contacts. There's just these sort of practical concerns that you have as an actor that I need to be working on other things. But the demand for this story, my personal connection and journey that I've had with this story, I'm really close with Rachel's parents. I've met people whose lives she's touched. And plus, once you have one show where there's someone in the audience who is so deeply connected to Palestine and comes up to you and says, you brought me right back there, and thank you for telling our story. It is the greatest play that I have ever done, because I think it really is it reaches the peak. It's the pinnacle of what theater should be, of being able to see the direct change you're making in people, to have people feel, think, and ultimately act. I think, what more could you want from a play?
And now for the all-time question that I ask, when did you get bit by the acting bug? And did you think that you'd be doing political theater like this?
Yeah. So growing up, I loved to write stories. I was just I would hear songs and I would write stories. I would see little weird animals and I would write stories. I just have a very just imaginative brain, I guess. And I always wanted to be an actor. It was this secret wish I was harboring, but I didn't want to tell anyone because I thought they'd make fun of me. And then I was I really want to do this, but what if I'm bad at it? And then when I was 14, there was drama tryouts, and I tried out for the play, and I got the lead part. And it was just there's days where you have doubt. There's days where you are just plagued by, wow, there's so many other things going on in the world. Is this the most important thing I can be doing? And with this play, I never questioned that. And I know that there's not anything else that I'm supposed to be doing. And it's infectious. The more you do it, the more you're oh my God. I mean, it's like having a really important person, like a lover in your life who, sometimes will upset you and make you jealous and bitter, but it always keeps coming back, and it's the greatest love of my life.
I can say that you did the right thing, okay? Your performance, and this is my second time seeing the show, your performance is so riveting and so real and so raw. I feel like as though like Rachel Corrie's spirit is coming through you when you perform, and I've cried both times. 2 times I've cried. Yeah, she's crying at the end. We're all crying at the end with you, and you always get a standing ovation because you are just so authentic. And you are a CCSU alumni, and you will actually be doing a show there, March 14th.
It's a Monday. Yep, Monday, March 14th, 7 p.m., Davidson 123. You should be there.
Definitely, I'll be there. But 3.
Super fan.
Bring the Kleenex. I'll be there. Sit next to me. Well, thank you so much, Ashley. And I'm so grateful to have this part of our show because it's such an important message, and it's something that doesn't get talked about a lot.
Not nearly enough. And this play does not feel, yes, I think every act of art is political. I think everything has politics interwoven into it, but this is a story that anyone can relate to. If you've ever questioned, do I make a difference? Can one person make a difference in this world? You should come see this play.
You have it here. Who's that lady? Ashley Malloy. And she is making a difference, and she is just rocking the stage. Come see the show March 14th, okay? Thank you.